royal wedding. Did you watch?
The what?
Did you watch the royal wedding?
Yeah, some of it. I liked.
It was a nice
I thought it was-
affair, as the saying goes.
Good. It's
I must say the American broadcast people, though, they didn't do much work
No.
in preparation for
They
it.
didn't. They didn't do
Because
I don't
they
think
had absolutely no idea who anyone was, or at least they didn't tell us, unless they were American celebrities.
She didn't like the way, and he didn't.
Good
like
evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea if we're on or not.
Is that the wrong song? We're on.
Well,
Are
we
we
should
on?
be on, but I have no idea if we're on.
We must be on.
Would someone in the control room tell me if we're on?
Josh, can you tell us?
We're on. Very
God,
good.
Josh
Good
says
evening,
we're
ladies
on.
and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fun Show. Comes as a bit of a surprise to us. Here we are again, just the two of us. Only this week, you get me back, and I'm delighted to be here as opposed to my semi-permanent residence at Beth Israel Hospital. And
How was the food?
not that bad. They have an interesting thing there where they give you a menu. You can
yeah,
actually
yeah,
order
yeah,
food.
Yeah,
The only problem is that most of the stuff that sounded most appealing,
was lousy.
was not on my restricted diet. So
Oh yeah.
you end up ordering this stuff and they say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. O'Reilly, you can't have that. So,
Anything with salt or sugar
or heart healthy or garlic allergy or
or
something.
garlic.
They seem to put garlic and everything in the
Yes.
thing. So, in any case, Susan's not able to be with us tonight, but I'm here, and
I'm glad you're
Michael
here.
Sallin is behind the
Keyboard.
keyboard.
The Kira keyboard.
Was going to open with June is busting out all over as an appropriate setup for things. Since when we return, it will be well into June. And the fresh Virginia creepers are a-hugging the bejeepers out of every morning glory on the rill. My favorite line is, all the rams are chasing you sheep, and you know that there'll be new sheep.
You like that line?
I like that line, yes. So this is actually the May 21st edition of the Fun Show here. Coming up this Thursday is Harvard Commencement again, which has some relevance to the two of us, and they're going to have to pull it off without either one of us this year. And
Yeah, they're going to suffer.
I can't remember who the speaker is. Congressman Lewis, is that who it is?
Well, he already
think-
was at BU.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, they gave him
BU
something.
was yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
It seemed to me that I saw a lot of people wandering around the neighborhood.
There's a
so,
lot of people in the neighborhood. Right? They're nice people.
we didn't have the usual boisterous parties that
No,
we generally
no,
do.
No.
And I wonder
What does that mean?
I don't know, are they settling down, or are the BU students not dominant in our neighborhood anymore?
Maybe they're having the parties over there at the school. Maybe that's what it's about. I don't know.
I don't know. I noticed they had a tent on their softball field.
Yes,
But,
that's right.
it is interesting. They don't have as much open space as most other campuses do.
Well, they build on it. They build on all of it.
Right. Excuse me, you tore down that phone booth. Let's put up a 4-story building.
At least 4 stories.
That's the way we go. Well, since the last time I was here, ladies and gentlemen, we had a town election, and I will report that I am pleased that we have made some progress in getting a school committee, which there's some hope of their being concerned about students and teachers and stuff. And I also hope that we have a school committee that will put an end to this ridiculous proposition.
What the hell is
What are you playing? Recorded music? What is this?
I don't know. Hey, Josh, we got some recorded music
It's
going
coming
on.
out of your machine. That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
The phantom of the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I ought to learn how to use this machine. That would be good too, wouldn't it?
Anyway, so there's this ridiculous proposition, and I'm sorry, folks, if you happen to agree with it, but I think it's totally ridiculous and offensive that having rebuilt or built on the site of the former Devotion School, the ugliest school building in the Western Hemisphere, without doubt, there's now a movement of some extremists
Yes.
who want to rename the Devotion School on the ridiculous premise that Edward Devotion may or may not have owned a slave. And I'm just wondering what these people intend to henceforth call the capital of our nation.
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Venezuela, District of Columbia,
There
right?
you are. Okay.
But on top of that, if they were to rename the school, and in fact it might be a service to Edward Devotion to take his name off of this hideous building, because naming this building after anyone is an insult. This building should be named after the pathetic excuse for an architect who designed it so that he had to live with this monstrosity attached to his name.
Maybe he's working on the Mystic River extension for Chelsea or something. You know.
Yeah? Why? Is this a project that's intended to be ugly?
Well, you know how beautiful that bridge is.
Maybe he's working on the huge development that some dreamers want to put at Suffolk Downs.
That's now we're getting
Suffolk
somewhere.
Downs traffic can't support a closed racetrack, and they want to put all this huge stuff there. I'll tell you, just to bring the transportation system above absolute gridlock would probably cost $100 billion.
Well, that's small change, I think, for that.
It's small change for them if we pay it.
Yeah, we are. Well, that's. Yeah, I think we could use something like that. Or $100 billion to spend on something like that.
Right.
Get
On
the
roads.
trolleys back or something.
I mean, after all, didn't the current occupant say that he was going to put a huge amount of money into infrastructure?
Yes,
And it turned out
but he doesn't know how to spell it.
It turned out that very little of that was going to be government money, right? In theory, his theory was he'd put in a little money to leverage private and state money to do the thing. In other words, do nothing. You know, talk about spelling. He apparently can't spell his own wife's name.
Well, he had an IE on the end of it or something.
He sent out a tweet
Yeah.
to sort of announce that his wife was home from the hospital. He didn't say if it was home to the White House or home to her private apartment in Washington, but he misspelled her name in the process.
I thought it was interesting, but we don't know what. I hope she's okay.
Well, actually, she's sort of growing on me if she ever
Yeah.
gets the nerve to say, please forgive me, I'm leaving this jerk.
Well, she will after they change the rule, the writing on that piece of paper that describes what she gets.
You're talking
when
about a
she-
prenuptial
I
agreement that
didn't
you
want to say
presume
that.
exists?
I didn't want to say that.
You didn't want to say that, huh?
No, I don't want to.
The word prenuptial sticks in your throat.
It does.
Is that
I
like
know.
prenuptial
Well,
relations?
okay, so what about Governor Baker and the death penalty?
Well, I wish I knew more about that. You tell me that Governor Baker is now saying that we should re-examine the death penalty.
Yeah.
And I just wonder whether Charlie is somehow getting loopy over the fact that he has no serious competition for re-election, and he wants to make it more interesting. Because for Charlie to come out at this point
Well, there's all
in
these.
favor of the death penalty, and apparently for the sole reason that it would save money, Not that it has anything to do with justice or anything.
You know, why are these guys sitting around in a prison there all these years after murdering someone? And
I mean,
they
as
get
you
life?
tell me, they're saying, well, these convicted murderers are just simply living too long, and therefore we ought to execute them.
Well, sounds like makes sense from what he was talking. He doesn't exactly say these things, as you know.
That sounds like a John Bolton conclusion.
That's right.
You know.
John Bolton would
Yeah. Maybe Charlie should grow a hedgerow mustache like Bolton has.
That-
Anyway, it's very interesting because, if Charlie pushes this idea, it may convince a lot of us Democrats who didn't see a reason to replace Charlie to see a reason to replace Charlie. I would say, Charlie, this suggestion is political suicide in the state of Massachusetts.
I can't remember now. I was listening to you talk about Bolton and that mustache, and I can't get that out of my mind, that mustache.
That mustache?
Nobody likes that
Apparently, even the current occupant doesn't like
No,
the mustache.
he didn't want to hire him because of that mustache. Well,
Which is about the deep thinking that we get from the current occupant.
well, I like Bolton because he stuck to it. He wasn't going to cut off that mustache.
Well, there's another guy this weekend who stuck to it and didn't shave in spite of the fact that all tradition and expectations were that he'd shave, and that was Prince Harry.
That's right.
Prince Harry was the first British royal to get married with a beard in over 123 years, and he apparently needed the Queen's express permission to do so, which will tell you that it's not all Skittles and beer to be a member of the royal family.
I would like to have seen him without that beard. I couldn't really see the beard.
Well, I remember
It was light
him.
color.
I remember him. Well, one suspects, I like Harry, but
Yeah.
one suspects that
I like
the
Harry.
beard becomes more important to him as the top of his head starts to look more like his brother's. I mean, when you saw those shots from above and behind, there's not much hair on the back of his skull. Anyway, it was a very nice wedding. I enjoyed it. I will admit that I actually got up early in the morning and watched the whole thing through.
Yeah.
And I discovered that the American broadcasters who were broadcasting it, like so many things today, didn't seem to do their homework. Because once they got past George Clooney and Oprah and Serena Williams, they didn't seem to know who anybody was or bothered to say, there were all those little kids, cute little kids.
And all these other
They
people.
could only name two of them,
True.
Charlotte and George.
In the Globe, they showed one of Middleton's kids sticking her tongue out at somebody.
Good.
At
Well-
Harry, I think.
Anyway, I think it was fun. I also thought it was very nice the way Charles, when they left, it was a thing that nobody on television commented on, but when Meghan and Harry left to sign the register, there was this awkward thing where they left the church to sign the register, and that young man, what is he, 16, 17-year-old, played the cello brilliantly.
Very nice. Beautifully, yeah.
But Charles walked over to Meghan's mother and took her hand and walked out with her, which nobody commented on, but that was a very nice thing. Because that woman was there all alone.
I know.
In this whole thing, she had nobody other than her daughter related to her, and her daughter was a little busy.
And her husband, and the father was down in Mexico.
Mexico? Is that where he was operated on?
Well, he was. I don't know if he was operated on it, but
He had heart
but
surgery.
but he's living down there. Evidently, he likes it. He's an expat. He likes Mexico. It's cheap to live there, he thinks.
Well,
I don't know.
I like Mexico. Anyway, that was a pleasant thing.
But
The
then,
wedding.
The
wedding this weekend was nice.
All right.
So,
I'll let you take a look at something that we could talk about. This thing goes back to 2003. 03.
oh,
03.
03.
03.
Aught 3, wouldn't that be 1903?
Yeah.
Maybe it
That
does
would be
go back there.
2000. Aught 3. Yeah. Okay.
Aught 3.
All right. And this is called. Go ahead.
Even you weren't around to write something in 1903.
Yeah, I was. No, I wasn't.
No, you were not.
But I was thinking about it.
It's
Okay.
no, your father was thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is entitled Impasse. And we have not even read this, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to see, I always say this is the big TV, unrehearsed thespian society, and it's doubly true tonight. Well, I wish we could take him out.
Who?
Of course.
Take him out of where?
I'm fed up hearing about him.
You've lost me.
Well, that's nothing new.
Saddam.
So?
Why are we even answering him?
Because he's a friend.
Ah, that's reassuring.
How about Iraq?
Who's he?
He is a country.
She is a country. Motherland, huh?
Where are we going with this?
Could be fatherland.
But America is our homeland.
Okay, we'll agree.
Let's get back to Iraq.
I'm not much on geography.
Well, it's quite near Asia.
Oriental like China.
No, not exactly.
Not exactly. Well, the Taliban did blow up those ancient Buddhas.
We went to war against them.
Not the Buddhas.
Don't patronize me.
If we could just hit Saddam.
Assassination can be foreign policy, I suppose.
But we're the good guys.
Saddam is a real baddie.
We don't just kill people because we don't like them.
It's been all over the papers for months.
Yeah, I don't read papers.
Why?
Too many words.
Well, you could get some news from your TV or your radio.
Got rid of them. Time consuming. Same for books.
No books? What about magazines?
No interruptions. Kids are doing homework.
But Iraq is a current event subject in school.
All that paper and books, dust collectors.
Our whole country is debating this.
I work hard and my wife takes care of the kids.
So, you're not interested in what's happening?
My family is my #1 priority.
This killer could blow up the entire world.
He's there. I'm here.
He could start a plague with anthrax.
My wife and kids could be in danger.
Absolutely.
What about evidence?
Now we're getting someplace.
He's threatened to attack us, huh?
He's part of the terrorist plot.
Where they're tying him into 9/11?
Good heavens, that's dreadful.
Not so indifferent now.
Their school is having a field trip.
Saddam is bad news for all of us.
The principal should cancel it.
Not so calm now, eh?
Yes, but what about the UN?
They've got inspectors. They're busy hunting.
I think I should call the PTA.
It's not that simple.
What have they discovered so far?
He's had years to hide everything.
Is Superintendent Gorski aware of all this?
You mean Blix?
Gorski's just hired this summer.
Maybe Gorski is Blix's new assistant.
Sorry, but that can't be.
Gorski, Blix, what's the difference?
My kids would know the difference.
Why?
He's the new superintendent of schools.
Listen, Saddam has deadly bacteria, poison gas, and nuclear bombs.
But that's inhuman.
Who said he was normal?
We're dealing with an unstable nut.
Well, that's the case,
In spades.
kiddo. Then what is the president waiting for?
By George, I think he's finally got it.
I'd like to congratulate you on your cogent analysis.
Still, these things take time.
You mean you're backing off now?
Innocent until proven guilty.
What's with this guy?
Everybody has his rights.
And in Iraq, the right to get a bullet in the head.
And another unmarked grave in the desert.
That's hyperbole.
But we've got the goods on him.
Him?
Saddam.
Oh, yeah, Saddam that's around the bend.
You remember that foreign country, Iraq?
Yeah, I got it. Good. Go on.
We never discuss world affairs.
Why should we?
Your father was in World War II.
And you were called up for Vietnam.
I spent 2 years as a corpsman in the hospital
In Japan?
on a U.S. military base.
What's that got to do with it?
I stayed on the base,
You didn't do any sightseeing?
too busy with wounded GIs.
What about Desert Storm?
George Sr. was president,
Correct.
and everybody joined in with us.
Here we go.
And it only lasted a couple of days.
Saddam was left in charge again.
But we bombed the heck out of him first.
So what?
All that cost us big bucks.
Our allies helped pay for most of it.
And what about this time?
George Sr. was more persuasive.
Now hold on.
I'm mixed up.
Look, we take Saddam out and pay the bills later.
Yes, but who pays?
Probably we do.
That means higher taxes.
That's the price of freedom, my friend.
But I'm already free.
It's the freedom of the people of Iraq.
Isn't that their business?
Finally.
Saddam won't let it be.
How do you know?
If you disagree with him,
You disappear.
that's rotten.
They just had a presidential election,
That's good.
and everybody voted,
See, that's democracy.
but he was the only candidate.
Nobody else.
Would you run against him?
If I was the leader of the other party.
There isn't any other party.
But this is 2003.
Not in Iraq, it isn't.
What about Cuba?
They've had Castro for the last 40 years.
If you're unhappy, you can swim to Miami.
I don't think that's very
The
funny.
Sharks do. You'd be on their menu.
Try escaping from North Korea, or starving.
Another communist country, huh?
Iran is an Islamic republic ruled by an Ayatollah.
Next door to Iraq.
So, we're back to Saddam,
And our military are prepared to attack.
even without international backing.
I guess you've helped me, guys.
That's what friends are for, buddy.
What about your family?
They don't trust him.
Then there's the anti-war demonstration.
Well, it's a free country.
If one of your kids was sent to fight,
I can't answer that.
well, we think George W. is right.
And his advisors have made a strong case,
That's fine, and thanks for filling me in.
but you still won't commit.
I'm an American citizen, and I stand with the flag.
Well, that's good enough for me.
It took a while.
Still, we did listen to each other. How about that? Peacefully yet. Blackout.
Well, we got to the end of that one.
Impasse.
Impasse. Would you
From
say?
St. Patrick's Day 2003.
Not bad. Okay.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Okay.
And we mentioned North Korea in there.
Yeah.
And if you remember, about a week ago, the current occupant of the White House was promoting himself for the Nobel Prize.
Absolutely.
Mr. President, what about the Nobel Prize?
Well, everybody says I should get it, but I'm not going to say it.
And
So
now, all of a sudden,
things.
somebody seems to have wakened him up, held the smelling salts under his nose or something, and now he's relatively desperate to get out of this summit with Kim.
That guy Bolton brought up Libya.
Bolton is ruining everything.
Yeah.
And South Korea is scared to death that he's going to embarrass himself and get taken to the cleaners. And here's the scariest part of it. The reason he's starting to have second thoughts about going to the summit is because he doesn't want to spend any time to prepare.
Why should I prepare? I'm the greatest negotiator. Why should I prepare?
Well, he does know everything.
Yeah, he thinks so.
Yeah. Well, that's what's important.
But this world-changing, unprecedented, first ever meeting of a sitting American leader and a sitting North Korean leader ever in history, and he doesn't feel the need to prepare.
It takes too much time,
He says.
Yeah.
I mean, and when he falls on his face in this summit, Bolton, who has for years been an advocate of why aren't we fighting a war in Korea,
We have to have a war.
will fight a war,
We need a war.
and where will most of the casualties be? In South Korea.
Naturally. We got a lot of families there, don't forget, too.
Oh, yeah, well, secretly they tried to recall all the dependents.
I hope so.
And then they decided somehow or other that would show a bad signal. So what they're doing is that now, if you're freshly rotated into Korea, you're not able to take your dependents with you.
Okay, that's good. Well, Governor Trump.
Actually,
Wait a
our
minute.
dependents are not South Korea's concern. South Korea is really scared
Well, they
that
should
their
be.
people are in danger from Donald Trump.
Well, That's part of it, and there's worse things coming, like Trump and his party favor anti-abortion legislation, in spite of how women and all the voters feel about this.
Well, the funny thing is that their little rabid constituency that's out there, which is greatly increased in influence because of their incredible success, which you almost haven't given credit for in gerrymandering, these single issue voters, it's abortion, it's guns, it's we hate anybody who doesn't look like us, and so they're pandering that. And the thing is, anybody who takes solace in the fact that the courts have routinely and consistently overturned this kind of legislation ought to remember that if this guy gets another Supreme Court appointee, the Supreme Court will no longer overturn this stuff, and it'll become a thing of the past. And I mean, Pence believes that any doctor who performs an abortion for any reason whatsoever should go to prison. Pence also would open re-education camps and round up all the gays in America and put them in them.
You got this all figured out already, haven't you?
The Ayatollah Pence is even worse, worse than Trump.
Then there's this horrible story we haven't even mentioned at Santa Fe High School. The kids said they were expecting something like this.
Right. They said, "Are you surprised it happened in your school?" And the kids said, "No, not really."
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere. There's no reason it wouldn't happen here.
Somebody said there's too many doors and entrances and
That
exits.
just shows you how stupid the people Texans elect to office are. The lieutenant governor's solution is, well, we live in a gun culture, and the only solution is to reduce the number of entrances to the schools. Yeah. We surrender, NRA. We surrender.
Wait a minute. Guns don't kill people.
Right.
Doors do.
Doors kill people. Yes.
Yeah, doors kill people.
What a jerk. But I hasten to remind people that this year, 2018, is approximately 20 weeks old.
20 weeks.
Perhaps 21 weeks old.
Yeah.
There have been 22 school shootings so far this year. So no kid should be surprised if it happens in their school. It's the new normal.
It's awful.
Now, one last thing. We have this colossal Secretary of State now, Pompeo. We also have a Senate that just confirmed a certified war criminal to head the CIA, which is pretty interesting. But Mr. Pompeo now wants to impose severe sanctions on Iran. Here's something he seems to have missed in the news. The European Union is already passing legislation banning any European Union nation from observing any American sanctions on Iran. They are going to make it illegal for any European Union nation to cooperate with the United States of America. Congratulations, Donald. We've gone from leader of the free world to pariah.
Yeah, but does anybody in the White House tell the president about this? Because, I don't know if this is really highlighted on the news.
Does he listen?
Well, I didn't ask you about that.
But I did.
Oh, okay. Well, you wait the next day and we find out.
No, it's fairly clear that nobody tells him anything he doesn't want to hear.
Okay. Anyways, immigration is still a big deal, and he's still not doing anything about DACA. And do you think he will?
No, he says it's all the Democrats' fault.
Oh, it's the Democrats.
It's all the Democrats' fault, although he's the one who unilaterally wiped it out. However, somehow in his mind, it's the Democrats' fault.
Yeah. And I read, we still have some time, not much time, no. We don't.
I think we could do Melania and the nation a big favor if we deported her as an illegal alien.
That he wouldn't. Well, I don't think he would mind. Oh,
He might not. It's if we started deporting porn stars, he'd be in trouble, right?
all right.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV. We won't be back next week. It will be Memorial Day. We hope that you enjoy it, and we hope that you enjoy the Indianapolis 500. We should be back the week after that. And everyone, be safe, be healthy, be good to yourselves, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Will the president be at the Indianapolis 500?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's never anywhere, haven't
But
you
that's
noticed?
a big crowd. He should be there.
No, he's never anywhere.